What's up, everyone? Welcome into Barstool Breakdown, episode 51. Shout out Dick Buttkiss, Randy Johnson, Ichiro Suzuki. Who's the best of those three? I'm not sure, but before we get into that, make sure you are subscribed. Throw a comment down there. Get us into the algorithm, as Frankie always says. We could debate who's the best number 51. And speaking of debate, one of the best hosts of a debate show, The Bracket, Kenjac. That's who we got this week. It's a great interview. We hope you guys enjoy. What's he always say here? Let's get it.
Get sturdy as fuck.
This is it.
All right, we're here with a very special guest. He's the host of one of my favorite podcasts, The Bracket. You might also know him as the former PMT intern and a big-time movie boy. It's Kenjac. How we doing, brother?
Doing very good. Nice to meet the legend in person. We met in person in Chicago, but to meet again post legendary bracket appearance on the Impressions episode.
Yes, I did not go as planned, but I do like that I was on the show and appreciate all of you guys very much regardless.
Yeah, and that was a blast, dude. You were the star. You were the star of the episode.
There was absolutely no question about that. I will say, Tommy said that, and I was like, yeah, I was. Don't know how brightly I was shining, but I was the star for sure. So I've got a couple people in the comments whenever I leave a comment on like the Yak or PMT or something, or even the bracket. They're like, the legend Buka, the impressionist. I'm like, oh God. So it's all right.
I think you did a great job there, Frankie. I mean,
I thought mine were the best still. Like of the people that were submitted, I mean, maybe I'm still crazy, but I know they weren't great. The criticism was okay. I agree, but I'll fuck Tommy up.
There were very few other than yours that I think were like objectively better at what they were trying to replicate. I think it was that the more random ones maybe laugh a little more, like the Trista Takanawa guy. Like that one kind of made me laugh more. Yeah. But like as far as from a technical standpoint, I think that you submitted the best actual impressions.
Right, which at Barstool maybe not like the way to go when you're doing a Barstool competition. Not always the best technically is the best, So I get it. I wasn't mad about the $100.
And it was a big kudos to Kenjac because like you could see Kenjac was sticking up for you for most of them, and then he just let the commenters get to his head. Tommy was bringing it down. Fights was bringing it down. So we had to.
Yeah, I can only go with the flow.
You did even you chose him at the end. You're like, you know what, fuck it, give me Buka. Like one of them. But circling back, we always start the show on the same kind of question. I don't know if you're familiar with the program, but it's pretty simple. I'm not even gonna go on a long soliloquy here. I'm just gonna be, what got you into Barstool, and how'd you get your start there at the pirate ship?
Yeah, sure. So I got started reading Barstool when I was in college because I commuted to college in New York City from Long Island, and it's like a hour and a half commute for me each way, and you just want to listen to something. I was just listening and reading, and I would listen to KFC radio nonstop, and like that was like my entryway into it, and it was like the biggest relief being able to like listen to something like that because it was so fun. And for me, like I was doing Tuesday, Thursdays, I was waking up at 5 a.m., coming home at 11:30 p.m. And like the only break I would got from that between school and coming home and going to work the next day was just a little bit of KFC radio, and it was great. So then when I was just getting my first job out of college, PMT, I think Hank just put out a call out like, hey, we're looking for interns to help run social media and shit like that. And I literally just DM'd Hank, and I was like, I am 100% in. And we had interacted on Twitter a lot before, and it was literally as easy as that. I think like he literally said, okay. And I ran the Instagram and part of the Twitter sometimes from like I want to say like right when they started, like maybe the month after they started 2016 until I think like 2018. And I was doing that while working too, which that part kind of sucked because like I'd have to wake up at like 5 a.m. and listen to the entire show and make clips and like pump those out before going to work at the 9 to 5. So I'd be like fast forwarding through the episode, like trying to find every good moment and trying to make a social media clip and then like find these things to put on Instagram, like quote cards, whatever, go to work. And then like, you get 1 day break, then do it all over again. And did that. And then that became an entry because I met Jeff over Twitter and we talked about forever about doing a Star Wars podcast. And then we did an episode of it. Like, why don't we just talk about all movies? So that turned into Let's Get Our Barstool. And then that obviously turned into the bracket, turned into everything. But yeah, it was a long and winding road to get back into the pirate ship, but I mean it's the best place in the world.
I got a question because you said speed through or fast forward through the episodes. Did that mean you were listening to it on faster speed?
like the 2x speed, and this is for me on like this is before I had Audition, so I forget what it was, like not GarageBand, it was like some like really weird software program that was, I'm just sitting there 5 a.m. just like fucking like a zombie, like fast forwarding through like these entire episodes trying to find like which quote to pull, which clip to make on fucking whatever, like I think it was GIMP was the Photoshop emulator I used or some, I don't know, it was tough.
Yeah, no, I get the reason I'm asking is because literally I made a comment that I listened to the podcast that I listen to usually on like 1.25 or 1.5, depending on which one it is and what I'm listening to. And some of the people that were in Stooley Wednesday when we were doing that, they were like, "You're fucking crazy! What, you put them on?" And then Neil, who's Stooley Clubhouse, he's like, I listened to many of them on 2X, and they were like, "What the fuck? How do you even understand it?" I'm just like, I'm just trying to get what they're saying. I laugh too, but it's like, if you're trying to make clips and stuff, then I get it, or we were trying to catch up and listen to every show and then break it all down for everybody on these episodes. So it was like, I didn't have time to be listening on regular speed,
So, I mean, this is what even the editors here do too. Like we all, like whenever we're making social clips, we go through our own show that we already watched. We'll like mark down stuff that we know for sure, but like you go through the entire thing on like XXX and like trying to go back and remember anything. It's just like it's a mental thing. And I think with the podcast too, the good thing is it's obviously not visual. So you can always back up and just watch something if you think you missed something. It's like if you ever zone out reading a paragraph of a book and like you have to go back and read it. It's kind of like that.
Do that every page I read usually.
I have to say though, I'm on board with that. You guys are psychos, because there's no like if I was listening to PMT on 2X, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Half the time there, PFT makes a joke that goes over my head anyway. So I don't know how you're catching those at 2 times.
Well, you called me out one time, Jonathan. I posted the clip when they talked about Barstool Breakdown on the Yak, and you were like,
yeah, it was sped up.
1.25x. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was like, why the fuck is Steven so fast talking right now? That's not his style.
Brandon was moving at like elite speed.
No, I think it depends on the show. Certain shows you could definitely do, like in my brain, like you could probably do audio crack 3x. PMT, maybe you gotta do like 1.25. It just depends on the show. If you're slower talkers, speed up a little bit. That's fine.
Brought up when you were mentioning how you got into Barstool, meeting Jeff D. Lowe. So was that like a relationship that kind of just clicked right away, and you guys were like, hey, we get along, not just Star Wars, but like every movie, or were you guys in communication before that? Like, we should do some stuff together. How'd that all play out for you?
So we would tweet at each other about stuff a lot, Star Wars related stuff, and like he was a GMA at the time, and we would he did like the Kermit sipping tea thing, that the very viral. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. I thought that was hilarious. Like we talked a lot about that stuff, and then we just mentioned, because he knew PFT indirectly as well, and we went to, I think we met. We thought of a bunch of ideas, and we're like, let's go meet. We went to like some bar in the West Side or something, and we just like laid out a bunch of different shit. Like, here's all these ideas we have, blah, 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 blah. And then we brought that to PFT, to Erica at the time, and like a bunch of other people. And that worked there. And we also obviously added on Trill Ballins, who was like one of the funniest internet posters of all time. And it just, everything clicked out pretty quickly and easily, I would say. But yeah, it was a pretty quick, I would say, coming together.
Yeah, and it leads into the Lights Camera Barstool stuff, which I think like I guess we don't maybe it's on my end, but maybe I'm not seeing like a whole ton from that page anymore. But
yeah, sure. So we basically were like, Jeff is like mega hyper busy with the dozen, which is obviously like a juggernaut, and we're like, okay, let's put this a little bit like on hiatus, because for me too, like I wanted to be a little bit more hyper focused on the bracket, and they were like because Goochman had moved and they reassigned it. So like he was producing the show originally, and they're like, okay, well, you have the time. If you're doing that, you can just do produce the show. So now I produce the show, do all the social for them too. So I was like, I don't really have time, the bandwidth to do that on top of LCB. So we were trying to like settle in schedules, and then maybe we'll be able to come like off hiatus. But that's just like, I think still work in progress to come back into the normal flow. Me and Gooch will still do like usually once a week, like just an hour and a half on whatever's happening in the movie world, but that's only for YouTube right now.
No, for sure. Has there ever been like an inkling to go to Chris Klimmer and be like, hey, you want to restart the Uncrouchables, a podcast featuring Chris Klimmer and Brandon Walker, talking about movies, whatever that was?
Yeah, that one. There was another one that he did that I don't think ever ended up getting released. I don't know where the tape is on it. It's almost like a Monkey Boy situation. Him and I think a couple other people did like a courthouse type show where it was like they had, I think, one person watched a movie they hadn't seen before. It was like Tommy watched Goodfellas or something, and they like debate whether, like, so for someone who also hasn't seen it, and they'd be like, you should watch this, you shouldn't watch this. And if I remember, I didn't watch when they made it, but I heard it went well. I don't know where that. Again, it might be held hostage somewhere.
I feel like, what was the name of it? Did you say it had a name? I feel like it's just called The Verdict. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, honestly, that might have been it. I don't know what the name is, but me and Clemmer talk about. Clemmer is such a fun person to talk about movies with because he's like he's so enthusiastic about the movies that he's like enthusiastic about in certain periods too, especially the 90s. He loves talking about 90s movies, which is just fun.
It's crazy referencing Clemmer as enthusiastic when he does like a daily biography about death. You know, whoever went out that day. Oh, did we lose him? Did I freeze?
It was you, but we can hear you. You were kind of
we got you.
Okay, yeah, mine just yeah.
But yeah, no, Clemmer, like sometimes he'll
sorry,
go down a dark road and please talk about something very dark, but he is very like generally a very funny and enthusiastic person.
Yeah, well, I feel like I don't know. With his like stance at the company, like it's so many people love him, but then like they also want to like shit on him for being old or stuff he listens to. So like when I did the Kermit the Frog and then I just changed it to Chris Clemmer because I just was like, he kind of sounds like Kermit. It was funny because that was the one where everybody was like, yeah, he kind of made fun of Clemmer, so that was a good one. Like it was like all I had to do was do that, and it was like, oh, okay, that's good.
It's kind of like I don't know if you guys have this with like whatever friend groups you have. Like there's certain friends where it's like they can take it, like you know what I mean, like they're good spirits, they're very like they're fun and they dish it back, and there's certain people that are very like I don't know, they're more insecure about it. Like you never want to make fun of that person because it's just gonna make them feel bad. Well, but like with Clemmer's he takes it and he dishes it back. It's fun.
So just what I was gonna say. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I was gonna say usually the guy that's the beatdown guy usually doesn't dish it back too well, or like you kind of don't take it as much. But he fights hard back. Like he doesn't let down and he doesn't want to lose. So it's like he's not the punch down guy. He's like I'm not gonna stop. So
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he's very fun to go head to head with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to, honestly. It's just like, man, he would just take me out of like
very relentless. He drinks
exactly.
Dude, he drinks like 2 Coca-Colas like this size, like every single day. He's like, yeah, but I don't drink coffee. I'm like, dude, 2 Cokes a day is like
his insides are just as clean as a penny, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's drinking Cokes and ciders. That's all that man lives off of.
His pain thinning is fucking intestines, dude. It's crazy.
I showed my kids. I showed them the penny thing where you put a dirty ass penny in a cup of Coke and it just comes out perfectly clean, and they were shocked. They're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, this is what would be in you. And they're like, I don't want to drink soda ever again. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Buying a Shirley Temple the next time out.
Yeah, no shit. They're like, okay, can I have this candy now? I'm like, it's the same shit. So whatever.
Same thing. Yeah.
I want to take the opportunity here to circle back to your show or Frankie's show. You know, Frankie is a star of the show. Yeah. Frankie's favorite show. Really, I mean, since I've met Frankie, he's talked up the bracket. He got me into the bracket. Like he said in our previous breakdowns, we would watch everything and break down like hey, go watch this. This is why. And the bracket was always involved in that, and I thoroughly like enjoy that show because of the community you just like develop throughout the show. Like everyone's involved, and for Stoolies, just seeing everyone mix it up is awesome. That's why people love the act. But how'd that idea originate? To get that even going, like, hey, let's just sit down and make a bracket and choose a winner.
Ooh, you know what? I actually think I could show you some Barstool history if you give me like 2 seconds to grab something.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sorry, it'll take like 2 seconds.
It's all good. Take your time. Now we can talk shit about him, right?
No, because he could hear.
So this is all from the original time that we pitched LCB stuff to Barstool. Part of it was this is actually funny. We used to we were thinking of names for what to call Let's Count Barstool. The first name that I had for it, and I still think it didn't make it. I was going to call it Critical Thinking, and that was the original name for the show. We can see it. Let me turn off the blur on this, but that was what I was originally going to call it. And we were going to do. Let me find the virtual background. Sorry,
no, you're good.
This is going to be, we're going to do like this thing called like the belt, where it was like whichever movie was the best. It was like a WWE belt. Whichever movie was the best, you hold the belt until someone takes it from you.
Huh.
And let's see. I know in here we have, oh my God, we wrote so many notes on this. Yeah, we were gonna do it movie based. So that was the original idea, was that we were going to do it in just only going to do movies in a bracket form. And then over time we did fictional debates over COVID. And that was like, people loved fictional debates. And when we had to stop that after Tyler left, we were like, okay, well, we can't just do that again without Tyler. It's not the same type of thing, but we could do the same or similar type of like debate show, something goofy. And we ended up settling on the bracket, which was it is genuinely so much fun. And if you're a fan of the show, this next episode is great because we did a full reunion episode. We couldn't get Jeff because he was on a plane because he was flying back from LA from New York, and it got delayed because of the shitty weather here. But we do have Coley back for the first time, I think, on anything Barstool. Owen's back, and it's a very fun episode. But yeah, that's how that all came together. Yeah, this is literally all PowerPoints that we. This is literally from the 28, like whatever original Trump election. Like, we showed Erica and Dave on, like, this is like our pitch deck basically. This literally is all old data. This is crazy to look at.
That was critical thinking just now. I don't know. I must be just slow today, but I like that. That's a good. First, I'm like critical thinking, like okay, and then I'm critical. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because we're critics, right? Like,
right. No, I didn't get that at first. I'm like. I was like, all right, well, I didn't want to be mean and be like, dude, Lights Camera Barstool and like the bracket just is way better. But like, I fully get it now. Critical. Yes, critics. Yes.
Yeah, you're still saying it with the same fire. Like, man, this could still work if we're looking to change Lights Camera Barstool.
Yeah. if we ever change the name, I mean, that's still somewhere. Hopefully. Yeah. But and honestly, no, that's definitely some podcast out there has that. They're all made already. But yeah, that was how that came kind of from the genesis of an old thing from a pitch we had in like 2018. So that just got revived back in like I guess 2021-ish.
I mean, I just so you know, many people said when the bracket came out, they were like, "This is just fictional debates 2.0," which I would comment back every time. Is that a problem? Is that not what you want? Because it would almost ratio them every time too, because it was just like. Yeah, that's what they're doing. This is the best. What's what we want. So
it's extremely fun. We just couldn't do the same exact thing. Yeah.
Right. And I get that for sure. But this setup is amazing. And I love the fact that, like, I've said it to everybody, like, if they like the yak, they like this. It's kind of like a yak-ish type show where it's just random people, because you don't always have the same people either. That's the greatest part about it. There's always random people coming in. And then you have people like Clemmer, who just became a regular, and Marty, who's been on, it's just like they were not on the very beginning. So, and credit to you, dude. Just gonna say it. You do great hosting that show, because Jeff was he's a juggernaut host, like you said.
He's a tough man, very tough man to replace. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, comments were probably not very nice in the beginning because I was there for most of them, but you do a fucking great job, dude, handling that show, because the people on there, I'll tell you what, there's 8 people trying to talk sometimes, trying to get through shit. And you're just like, all right, let's hold up. So.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that something that I'm happy Jeff has brought to the forefront too is how one of the worst parts about doing a show like this, where there's a lot of people, is that the worst thing about it is scheduling, because think about it this way. You're essentially, you're directing the show. You're doing the show. You're being a director of all that. You need to put together a topic, all that crap. The worst part of it is just constantly having to nag people and be like, you don't have anything coming up, right? You make sure that you have this time period. You make sure that you told people you have to be here. Then, like, some people have to drop really late. You have to go crazy trying to find a replacement. That part is honestly, because you feel like I don't know, like, I hate nagging. I hate it more than anything. And having to like nag my friends and coworkers to be like, you make sure you have this time, right? Yeah. Like that. I hate it so much.
It's part of running a show, though. Yeah, it's part of running a show, and I think you do a great job with that show. And I think the most unique part about that show is like the fan inclusion. Like, submit your ideas. Like, I feel like getting the fans involved like that is it's something that's really unique to, I mean, Barstool itself, but I mean your podcast, the bracket alone, because just being able to submit ideas, or like Frankie, submitting impressions, that shit's cool, and it allows like the Stoolies to feel involved. And I feel like a lot of the shows, like, obviously, like, live shows do, but for one that's recorded and then debated on, it's cool to see like your own ideas get brought to the forefront, and see some of the personalities you look up to debate about them. It's an awesome premise to a show. And if you ever need a fill-in, Frankie's available.
Yeah, I'll be honest, what I want to do is, and the weird thing about the impressions episode is, like, I think functionally it was difficult because I feel like we couldn't figure out what exactly we wanted out of it. Like, do we want more things that are like unintentionally funny, or do we want actually good impressions? And that was kind of a tough clash just based on the submissions we had. But I did think that the video element of it was really cool. And I was trying to think of that with the guys, just another way we could do some sort of fan video submission. I don't know if it would be close to like a KFC radio type thing where we'd have people like, hey, submit a story or something. You could show us.
Yeah, like voicemails.
Yeah, or something like that.
Forgot to mention this before. I realized I probably could have won because I didn't send you my best impression, which I don't know why I forgot. I had a video. It was just me, and it was saying, "Hi, this is Frankie, whatever, Barstool Breakdown, whatever."
Yeah, we know that part, Frankie.
I know. I was doing my little pitch. I thought he was going to pick one of them, so I did that for every.
No, I did every damn one of them.
So, but yeah, I had this is my impression,
Frankie,
and I just took a stuffed animal dog from one of my children, and I was just. And then
my god,
that was it. And I sent it to Jake too, and he was like, "This is great. I hope this wins." So I can't believe I forgot to send it because that probably, knowing you guys, you assholes would have been loving that.
It would have been the winner. I'm telling you, man. Every time, like we'd be going through it and be like, "I don't know. I think that's the last Buka one." And we'd find one more Buka one, and everyone would go ballistic.
Dude, I thought I was done too. I mean, the people in the Stooley group chat were like, "Dude, when I saw your face come up again, I just started laughing before anything happened." So.
Dude, it was like a shining light at the end of the tunnel.
But to clarify for Terraini, the background was literally my my kitchen counter. I took my phone and just did a quick picture of the kitchen counter and put it behind me because behind me was like all my kids' toys and pants that were drying on there. So I was like, yeah, this is probably not the background I want to use for these videos. So that's all that was.
Yep, don't trust me. I hear you. I just assumed it was like a green screen thing, but yeah, that was no. And I feel bad. I fucked up your the what do you call it, the Blutman one. I renamed all the files to try and name them by what I thought they were because the way it looked on Google Drive was like not for all of them. Like it goofed up the way they got submitted.
Yeah, I got you.
So I had to like assume based on what they were doing. I was like, I think that's Eddie, and there was the only one where you didn't have the intro.
And so yeah, because that was from the podcast, and that was literally Paige was like, "You need to submit that," or somebody from the company was like, "Oh, you need to submit that for the bracket. That'd be hilarious."
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was that good, honestly, like because it was just me randomly.
I don't know. Yeah,
I was like, I don't know, I just want to do it. Like I was, I wasn't trying to do an impression of him. Just like that was so good, whatever. But Eddie's, I mean, that's the worst part is Tommy starts doing it, bang bang, and I'm like, oh my god, of course it's gonna sound better because he's doing a fucking Chicago accent, like he's
actual Eddie, actual Eddie impression, yeah.
Which just so you know, Large has got the best one. I think he's done it on the bracket.
Really good at it, yeah.
Incredible.
Large is the man, friend of the program. So speaking of more content coming up, I know that Barstool Basketball just concluded its second season. Chris Klimmer may be out as coach. That leaves. I mean, it's up in the air. We just spoke to Dana, and Dana's not sure if he's coming back or not. What's that do with your role? Are you ready to fulfill that position and take control of the team?
I think I would prefer for Rico to be the coach because he was so fucking funny throughout that entire thing. He was, and part of it is like the personalities of the refs. The refs are very like animated and into it, and like they have all these sayings that they were constantly doing. It's like some out of like I don't know if you've seen like the Cable Guy or whatever, or like one of those movies. They're that who's Whitey from 8 Crazy Nights. He's like, they have such weird these little things like, I want to get you here the way you came in. I kept saying that over and over and over again, and all these different like ref sayings like, I'm gonna toss your ass, like, and Rico would go back and forth with them the entire game, like trying to nag them on these little technicalities of like the minutia of base basketball that only he knows that no one else gives a shit about. And like it's so funny, and I think him as coach is actually funnier than him as a player, especially if they were to go and play Kirk's team again, because that was amazing.
Oh yeah, incredible. Yeah, shout out. What was his name? Fucking, is it Gus? No, not Gus.
Gus. Yeah,
Gus.
Dude, Gus is so funny.
Yeah, we met him in Chicago. The same day we met you, and he's just
nice.
His little high podcast that he came out with. I haven't been tuning in, but I love the idea. But I think now Megan Making Money's got something like that too, where she's like cooking, like making munchies. Megan Making Munchies, that's what it's called. There you go.
Yeah. I went on Gus's one. It was fun.
Well, oh hell yeah,
nice.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we should reach out to Gus. Now I'm thinking about it. I mean, he's probably got stories from the Minahan world. We've never really tapped into the
We talked
Minifans
for like 5 seconds, and it was like I looked at Jonathan, I was like, this guy's fucking crazy, dude. Like it was like
he's got fascinating stories, man. He's an interesting cat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just funny the way, because he was in there for the PMT interview, and he's just like, I know what this is. I'm not stupid. And he was just like hanging out, like having a drink and eating and shit. I'm like, he's just enjoying his life and his time here. But speaking of PMT Intern, you mentioned that you were one to start with. How long did that, I guess, go for as just like, because you were saying intern, you had another job. Like, was that when you were working? Yeah. Was it Sotheby's or what? I saw.
Yeah, I used to work at a real estate company called Sotheby's. Yeah. So I was their first intern.
What that was.
Yeah, no, it's like some old ass English company. Like, no one gives a shit about them. But yeah, I was working at a real estate company and at the same time doing that. And I was their first intern, and then they hired Liam, and I think Billy at first was like, Billy started like basically right after I, like a little bit before I stopped. And it was just like, it was a shit ton of work on top of already pretty busy job for a 9 to 5, because like he's riding your ass in that business. It's miserable, but it was very, very fun and rewarding though, because like when you guys, and I'm sure you guys know, when you're like a stoolie and you're like you join and be part of the world, it's awesome. It is so fun, and especially with PMT, like them just starting and being part of any of that genesis was such a blast. And in the early days of the show, when they were like kind of like the Wild West, like we were getting like sued by Pardon the Interruption and like getting like attacked by like random sports people, and those are some really fun days.
Does that make it more surreal when you see a guy like Skip Bayless now joining PMT and like commending them, like you guys were right place, right time, great name, great premise? Like I feel like that's like insanity to me, because like that the start of that was like, these guys take themselves too fucking serious. We want to be some casual ass dudes talking ball, making jokes, like getting our hot takes out there. And at the time, there was like in real sports media, there was nothing similar to that. So yeah, does that become surreal to you? You know, being there for the start of the show, and now seeing like, you know, Stephen A's been on, fucking Skip Bayless, like we learned about Supreme Debate. It's insane.
Yeah, that's the Skip Bayless one specifically was very, very surreal, because like he's a guy that in 2016 and Stephen A. Smith too, and like a lot of like the legacy media guys, they would never even consider those guys, like not let alone like peers, but like they'd be like, I hate these people. They are trolls. They're like commenters. Like they would not consider them even close to like an equal. So like them coming on, you nailed it on the head. It was very surreal, and he was awesome, and it had like the ultimate PMT effect that it's had on every guest they've ever had, where you go into the interview like, I want to hate this guy, and he rocks. Like Joe Buck, they rehabilitated Joe Buck. It's crazy.
Yeah, they made Troy Aikman a Hoosier fan. He last night on the broadcast on Monday Night Football, talking to Joe Buck, being like, you know what, I can't wait for seeing who Cignetti's going to go play next. I got to worry about my Hoosiers. Giving him shit from a joke that stemmed from PMT, and now it's on Monday Night Football. It's insane, like the level it's gone to. Boomers shouting out PMT. Shout out the Part of My Take guys. I want to Brock and roll and Purdy every day. Like. It's the level of that show is insane, and anyone that's been a part of the growth of PMT, I mean, deserves all the accolades in the world, because it obviously
it's such a very, very minor part, but I'm just happy to have been along for the ride.
Yeah. Oh man, and anyone attached to that show, you know, like when Hank retweets my golf highlights of him, like it just feels good to be included a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, man. Yeah. No, they are the best at what they do. So fun. I love and they're I would say, especially like with PFTs, like they're just as funny offline. And I'm sure you met them during the Dozen tournament and stuff like that too. Super funny guys.
Yeah, that was the first night, when Frankie and I first met, we went to the original Chicago tournament. And that was the night we all got to go. We went out and, you know, partied at the Rabbit Hole or whatever. And PFT was there. Che was there. And, you know, that night we're talking to Bosco while he's holding the trophy, and he's all, you know, in a good mood. And but yeah, no, just meeting those guys. And yeah, I know everyone's going to say it, but yeah, normal ass dudes who really like that's what makes us love this company so much, is like what you see is what you get for the most part, unless we're talking about Ohio State's blogs or something, then maybe it's a little different. But and I'm an Ohio guy, so you know I'm gonna back them. But I kind of lost my train of thought there, making a joke, so I'll just
I hear that is the thing that I mean, it's a domino effect, right? Where it's like it starts, Dave goes to Big Cat, goes to PFC, where it's a kind of a domino of normal guys that come from like more normal backgrounds, and that is, I think, what got me into Barstool originally, and I think we got into other people I know into Barstool originally. And there's not a lot of people here that come from that more like elitist legacy world or whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that is a good thing. There always needs to be a space for that.
Yeah, well, you said you were like, when you're like a stoolie or a fan or whatever, and then you join the company, how amazing it must be, whatever. We're not even in the company. We just got to go to the office and we got to go and wake up Mincy the next day too. So we were there 2 times, which was literally incredible, honestly. Yeah. And I was just like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever. These guys are so cool. I mean, everybody like came up to us and was like, oh yeah, like the ones, especially people that were on the podcast, were like, hey, what's up, man? And like said hi to us, chatted with us, whatever. People that we didn't know were like, oh yeah, you guys do the show. Like, it was just cool to like you said, normal ass people where we watch you guys online every day and we're like, holy shit, these are the guys we want to like be like and hang out with and like whatever. Cause it's like that we have the same, like Barstool fans have the same, like, I don't know, brains, I guess you can call them, weird brains. Like everyone, like Dave always says, like when I meet a Barstool fan, like usually I don't even like know who they are or whatever. We just connect right away. Like it's an event and we're chilling the whole night. Like it's just, I can't do that with a person that I meet at my daughter's play. Like, I'm just like, yeah, cool. Like, go drink some Chardonnay. Like, I'm gonna go crush on.
Yeah, we're a bunch of fucking weirdos, and that's fine. But yeah, and the envy will never stop. You know, going to Chicago and seeing that. I still want to try to make it to New York and get a tour of that office eventually. But we'll see if that ever happens. I want to try to make it to the next Pizza Fest for sure. That's
oh my god, I didn't get to go to this last one. I wasn't in town, but I went to the first one. It was pissing rain in Coney Island. It was legitimately like, not trying to give a free ad, although I guess I should, but it was legitimately like one of the funnest things I think I've ever been to, as far as like just a general event. And pop punk is playing in the middle of the rain. Like random celebrities were there. Like you ever watch what is it? Not Bad News Bears. The great, what's the one where they're in prison? The football team.
Longest Yard.
Longest Yard. Do you know the Brucey from The Longest Yard? I think it's John Turturro's brother. He's just there walking around chilling, and we're like, what the fuck is Turturro doing here? And like a couple other random people there, and like the pizza was legitimately unbelievable. It was so good. And I obviously didn't go to this one, but yeah, that one, if you could get out to that one, it is great.
Yeah, I have a bit that I eat a whole pizza every now and then and just tweet it for no fucking reason.
Bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Just about to eat a whole pizza, by the way, and then I just tweet out eating a whole pizza. That's the bit.
Yeah,
not a whole lot to it, but yeah. So I gotta make it.
I do that too offline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great.
Don't even document it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Good.
So we talked about your Yankees. You know, down 3-0 right now. How does one become a Yankees and a Chargers fan?
Oh, you're gonna. All right,
yeah. So my parents, it was just basically more or less my dad. My dad only gave a shit about baseball. That was it. Full stop. Did not care about any other sport, top to bottom. It's just I care about baseball. Very old school mentality type of thing. Like all I wanted to do is watch baseball. So it was Yankees, and that was it. And then it was kind of like I was kind of like free to find whatever other teams I liked. And for me, when I was like hitting like the middle school age of like being super into sports, it was I latched onto LaDainian Tomlinson, who was the most like electric player in football at the time. So good, just and like why would I not want to root for this team? Stupid ass move on my part. And then at the same time, it was the D'Antoni Sons, where it's Nash, Stoudemire, Matrix, like Roger Bell, Joe Johnson, like all these guys are. I'm like, why would I not want to watch this team? Stupid ass decision. And instead, I could have been a Giants fan watching 2 Super Bowl rings. I could have been like anything else. Instead, latched on to 2 West Coast teams that are just turbo ass. So that's
a ballsy move for you.
West Coast part, because you're in the East Coast, you're watching those games late as fuck, dude. Because
basketball specifically, it's always a pain in the ass. Like even like last night, like after the Yankees game, like all right, I guess I gotta watch the rest of the Suns Lakers game, watch them fuck this up, and they won, so it all worked out. But
speaking of a Lakers fan,
what's that?
That like I was gonna say I'm giving you a little slack, but I'm kind of the same way. I picked the Lakers as a little kid. I loved Kobe. Who wouldn't love Kobe? I want to watch everything Kobe does, so I became a Lakers fan. So
yeah. And that's a good thing. And I think people are so over the top about like gatekeeping fandom in this world where it's like we are in like back then. If this was like 30 years ago where you couldn't watch those teams, why would you want to be a fan of those teams unless you had like a familiar relation? But now you can watch any game you want from any team you want. So why wouldn't you want to just like, as long as you're not hopping from team to team, like why would you not want to watch whatever team you like the most, you know?
No, absolutely. And it worked out. Like also another West Coast team. I'm a Giants fan, why I hate the Dodgers and I'm rooting for your Yankees. But I mean, I've had the opportunity to go out there and watch my favorite teams. Like I got to see Kobe drop 40 in his last year against Andrew Wiggins, going back to back to drop a nine game skid. Yeah, I was up in the bleachers, but I watched Kobe hit fadeaways over Wiggins, and they were just trading buckets. It was amazing. And then going out to San Francisco and seeing the Cove in person was incredible as well. That was just a random road trip up from San Diego. Gatekeeping fandom is bullshit. I think my most popular TikTok video is like over 500,000 views, but every comment, because in the background I usually have TJ Watt and Kobe hanging behind me. He's like, that Lakers fan deserved it because he roots for the Steelers too. It's like, shut the fuck up.
I'm the reverse of that, and that's what I was going to say to you, Kenjac. You mentioned the Giants, which I realize I keep forgetting about that because I'm a Jets fan. Again, why I'm wearing a Steelers hat because they lost to the Steelers. But you could have been a Jets-Knicks fan, and guess what? You're in the same goddamn position you're in right now, dude. You fucking suck. We barely ever make the playoffs. God rest his soul. One of my fraternity brothers, a high school friend of mine, passed away, but he was a Chargers fan, and we had a bet every year. And because the Jets and Chargers, I don't know why, but when we were in high school, I graduated in 07, but they used to play every year.
All the time, dude.
It's crazy. So we had a $2 bet, and we were like, we won't pay it out till end of high school. Then we went to the same college and joined the same fraternity. So like, all right, let's just keep this bet going. Like I said, God rest his soul, he ended up passing away. But I remember at the end of it, I think the Jets might have beaten them more times, so I might have been up. But I remember talking to him and just being like, we are just both ass, dude. We're the both two fittest teams ever. If we do make the playoffs, it's never going anywhere. And he was just like, hey, it was fun though, right? We had a fun bet for like 6 years. And I was like, I guess so, dude. Because it was just like two asshole teams just playing against each other. But
it's like, which one of our guys is going to lose and then in the playoffs to each other and then just go get our ass kicked by Tom Brady? That was what it came down to at the end of the day.
Yep.
There was so we had a question posed in the group chat earlier from FSU Brando. I'm sure you're familiar with his game.
Yeah, of course.
He said an employee asked him, but I'm just curious on, from an employee's standpoint, if there were if you could bring back a piece of Barstool content that no longer is around, what would you do? Or is there any because sent in that group chat, you brought it up before, it was the fictional debates. It's like I fucking love these. Someone sent that. So any piece of content that's no longer with us, is there one that you specifically would bring back?
1A is wrestling, obviously. It's always going to be 1A in my heart, and all of Stewie's heart. It's always going to be wrestling. 1B, Jim Florentine, wherever he is. I don't know if he ever put out a piece of content, but he was here. He showed up once to our company party, and the place went ballistic. He
wild employee that was.
It was insane. It was like he showed up. It was like the Pope walked in, and he is legitimately very, very funny. I have no idea still to this day what he did specifically at the company, but he is very funny. I think the actual answer would be fictional debates, because fictional debates was so fun, and it was such a cool place to flash creativity, because you get to really, you have time to zero it all into one specific little avenue. I want this player because of this reason, this thing, and I was making shit in Adobe Premiere for it. That was so much fun. And obviously the combination crew of Herbs is early KB, Nick, Coley, Tyler, and then me on the tail end, and Jeff hosting was so much fun.
What was going after that? Like you saying, having that original cast together obviously was huge. What was the biggest adjustment for you during the move, as you're staying in Chicago and then you see half the office leave? What was obviously we're still dealing with that fallout day to day. More so now than ever feels like. But no, it's finally dying. But yeah, what was it an adjustment period for you specifically, especially when you're doing a show like The Bracket and you got 9 people on the show or whatever? It's got to be tough.
It was definitely hard because you lose a lot over the course of Zoom versus in person. And they're obviously super, very like emotive, I guess. Like you talk a lot, you like move. Part of it is the physicality. Like you don't get moments like compact Clemmer in the middle of an episode. Like that shit is so fun, and that doesn't play as well over video. So you lose a lot, and it sucked really bad. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to bust up the show and just do all New York just because they're in Chicago, and like we still do have I would say some moments that are like on par with when we were still in person. But there is just like you have to try to find different ways to be funny, and because you lose the physical aspect of it.
Right. I'm gonna go right back into that content thing. I think the obviously we're all stoolies in that group chat, but Barstool Idol, man, what happened? Like, why not just run it back? I mean, if we're that thirsty for something new in New York, just run Barstool Idol back. I feel like that's an easy hit. And now more so than ever, you're getting these outspoken stoolies like Frankie and myself who start fucking podcasts about it, or like or Big Twan or you got Joe Sauce who's over there lobbying every day or making some Brandon Walker video. But I think the stoolie crap is maybe the best it's been like for a show like that. But that's also me just saying, hey, I want to be on Barstool Idol.
No, I would love. I mean, that's a like my pay grade here, like
oh yeah,
there type thing. But like that's one where I don't know what the thing is. It might just be part of like the lift, because it is like those things are like a massive production lift, and like they want to focus in and dial in on stuff like Stool Fiber or sure. That. And this season, from what I've heard, is insane. So like I understand wanting to focus in on things like that, but yeah, I always loved Idol season because you get some of I think you get some of the funniest moments and some of the most awkward moments. Like legitimately, I was standing right. If you ever look up the clip of like Mantis's audition for Barstool Idol, I'm like right in the background of it, and when he goes like yeah, I obviously have a condition, and we're all like, you little dour at first, like yeah, it's like I got a BDS. Big dick syndrome, and like I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my fucking life at that. But then at the same time, you also get moments like there's this dude that came in, and I'll never forget it because it was so awkward. I don't know what comedian it was. He came in and he kept just saying, "I have a buffet of bits for you guys. I got a buffet of bits. I got this big buffet of bits for you." And like Dave, I don't think he was just like, "Get out!" Like I know, like I don't want any of that. Get the fuck out! Like, and it was so mean and so brutal. So you get very awkward, but you also get very funny. And you get guys like Marty. You get guys like, even at the time, like you get Mantis, you get Francis. So
yeah. No, I mean Mantis is still out there doing his own grind. It was cool to see him come back and shoot free throws, and I'm pretty sure he just tried out for a G League team. So props to him.
I think he was getting like his dick sucked by a prostitute or something. like for that was paying $2,000 for shit. Like he's still out there doing crazy shit. So
didn't he do that at Barstool? Didn't he like get a?
The prostitute thing was definitely not with us. I disavow any association of us to that.
Well, all I remember was he had to wear a condom, and he paid like $2,000 to get his dick sucked. And it was
yeah. I think that was. I'm gonna say, legally speaking, that is 100% after us. I just saw that like that came up at Twitter or something, and we were just like, "What the fuck is going on there?" But yeah, dude, he's still out there killing it.
All right, well, normal transition here. If the Chicago office does the movie film festival thing again, I think like we got to get some like LCB like critic reviews on that.
Yeah, I would love. I think I helped them with the sort of promotional stuff of it. Like me and Corey worked it out. Where I think they originally just wanted Kirk. That Kirk's obviously a billion times bigger name than I am, so like, why would you not want him to be a judge on that? But I did like promotion stuff with that. Like I blogged all the things, the posters, like all the behind the scenes shit like that. And they sent me to the premiere of that movie. It was A Boy Kills World, which is cool. Because I got to interview some people that like some of them I was like super pumped about. Like there's this guy, Andrew Koji, who's like really cool martial arts actor. He's in the show Warrior, which I think is phenomenal. Everyone should watch that show. And a couple like Famke Janssen, who's in like X-Men, a couple other people too. Didn't get Bill Skarsgård. He did. I don't know. He miffed us, I guess. He got into he didn't do any interviews. He just left. He was on the red carpet and just like, I'm out of here. Whatever, dude. But your brothers are better. But he left early, and then they didn't let me in the movie, which also was kind of annoying. But other than that, that part of it. The interviews are fun. Doing the promotional stuff was fun, and I would love to direct one of those. That would be great. I love doing the Halloween heist one. I thought was so fun to put together and kind of script out and shoot and all that stuff. And it is funny. You mentioned how like rabid the stories are. Like the first comment was they shot a PMT commercial here. And they're 100% correct. And we thought about it when we booked the place, and we were like, "You think the schools will remember that they made a PMT commercial at this bank?" And immediately everyone put together.
That's crazy.
That or spending like $6,000 an hour at like a bank in the city. So
yeah, this day in Barstool Sports probably covered it for us and had it out there. Yeah.
like that, dude.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, I just need a little breakdown. That's all, because I feel like, I don't know. To me, I know that people are saying, "Oh, recency bias." The last movie was the Donnie, psycho murderer one, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I thought the movie with Che and
that was really good.
It was great. Excellent.
Last Gun on the Bullet.
But I'm not gonna lie, dude. I really was hooked and like super like holy shit at the Donnie movie, because like the different like aspects of things and like the way he was like laughing, then he did this, then he killed this person. That was like what it was like, I don't know. I felt like I knew it was gonna happen more on The Last Gun on the Bullet and not as much in that one. So I felt like that one actually should have won. And then afterwards, I felt like an idiot because everyone's like, "No way, dude, that one was way worse." And I'm like, what? So I would like to hear, like I said, someone who I would appreciate to hear from, like you, be like, "Hey, I think this was good and that was good," or whatever. Because
Mm-hmm. No, I loved all of them. I agree with you. The Donnie one was very underappreciated, I would say, during that entire contest. And honestly, all of them, like when they initially put the contest together, I'm like, "How the fuck are they going to do this?" Like, I have no clue. Like, because like I know the sort of directors behind them. Like, Pavs is a fucking genius. Like, Fasoli can shoot the shit out of anything. So like, I know they could physically do it. I'm like, how is this going to turn out though? And I mean, all of them came out coherent at the bottom level of the bar, but all of them came out actually, I think, way above that. So very impressive.
Yeah. Donnie gave shades. Who's the guy that plays the Joker? He tapped into tapped into that side of him. Like it was nuts to see Chef Donnie screaming into a camera like that. Like I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I know he's a crazy dude doing all like his Donnie does or whatever where he does his challenges. Where he's basically trying to kill himself. Crazy. Yeah, that's it. Die trying. Yeah, he's a crazy guy. It's cool to see how creative, the people at Barstool can get when you're just like, put in a team like that. And it's like, all right, let's make a short film. Like,
we're usually good once you throw us all in like a room together and it kind of like, hey, do this thing now. And then it kind of comes together. Sometimes it just getting to that point is a little difficult.
Yeah, you see it also with another show that you've been featured in before, Out of Order. The collaboration that goes into that is impressive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Out of Order is so fun. Everything about it is just a blast.
Now, did you think you could act before that?
It depends on the situation. Like I was like, if I'm forced to do a certain thing, or XYZ thing, I don't think I could do it. If I have to act normal, sure. If I can be under a mask, great.
Yeah, when we talked to Greer, I was like, "Yeah, you did a great job pretending to love Kelly Keegs there." I was like, "It looked really authentic." He's like, "Yeah, I didn't show my fiance that one."
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That one was Bizarro. Shot that at like a house in Queens, and it took us forever just to like logistically put all this shit together because like the big ass draft board and like all this other camera stuff we had to throw together for the lighting and all that. And the owner of the house was just upstairs the entire time as we're like screaming and yelling and doing all these insane things. Is weird, but I think that's what came out pretty funny. Greer at the end when we were trying to put together even that last bit. I don't know if he told you this, guys, this. So like, the last thing was like Zach Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initially I think Owen pitched that joke and half of us thought that the joke was that Zach Wilson likes to fuck moms. And then half of them thought it's just because he's a bad quarterback. So like, we don't know if this totally makes sense, but people seem to get it. So it worked out.
Oh yeah.
I was going with the former at first. That was what I was thinking too, for sure. So
yeah, exactly.
Choose your own adventure kind of joke.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It works on a double layer. So as long as it works, who cares?
Oh man, that's
I'm trying to leave some win for you, Frankie.
Yeah, well, you asked basically all the questions that I had that were any good besides like the lame-o ones, like, oh, hey, you're the movie guy, so what's your favorite movie of all time?
I'll give you the full. Let me give you the full list. Let's see. And trust me, don't worry. This is what me and whenever me and Jeff do an interview, we probably do the same thing you're doing right now, which is you have it on a big list in Google Docs.
Huh?
Is that how you guys work it?
It's in my notes app, but
yeah,
kind of same.
This is what we do. What we would do is we'd highlight which ones that we specifically wanted, and whenever.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
today was kind of because I've been moving and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm like, I literally just set up my office right before this.
Yeah.
I was like, Frankie, I don't have any fucking questions because usually I'll go to your LinkedIn or I'll try to find something, from in the past. And I was like, I don't have anything. Send me your list, please.
Respect. All right. So my top grouping was No Country for Old Men, which has been my favorite forever. No Country for Old Men, I think, is one of the best. I love neo westerns. So like you just take like the ideas of a western and you graft it onto like a modern setting. So like Sicario, where like that's like an old western movie where you just took it and you threw it onto a new setting. Hell or High Water. You take those old west sensibilities. Wind River, Old West. It's just a new modern day. I love that sensibility. Parasite's been up in mine forever. Goodfellas, obviously. Seven Samurai I have up there too, but that's more of like that's like my one up there. I'm like, I need one. I really genuinely love the movie a lot, and I know it's a pretentious pick to have in your top grouping of the movies, but I'm just like, fuck, it is just that good. And then Jaws, Raiders, Return of the King, Empire Strikes Back, Inglourious Bastards.
Was this on the app as well? Were these the same?
Yeah,
okay.
This is all in the same from the website. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I can't wait for that to come back up, dude. Like there was times where my wife now, I guess wasn't wife when I first started using the app, but it was like we would just be like, "What movie?" and it'd be like randomizer, but you could pick whatever,
Yeah, that'll come back eventually. That's like I think an IP or something type deal with the code because I forget who coded it.
Speaking about that,
but yeah, it's just an access thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but we'll get that figured out eventually.
No, I'm looking forward to that being fixed because I'm not a movie guy. I suck at watching movies. I don't know what. Usually there's a game on that I'm trying to watch, but even in the dog days, I suck. Yeah, I mean, not even like TV shows. Like I just suck at watching. Like I'm still behind on Game of Thrones. I think I'm still
very late.
Or no, not Game of Thrones. The fucking new
House
season
of the Dragon.
of House of Dragon. Yeah. I've watched one episode. I'm like, maybe I'll get to it later, and then I just haven't. But then again, I'm trying to make clips for this too. So what's that?
I've never seen one episode of House of Dragons and like none of those shows are like my thing. And the craziest part is in high school, people were like, "Oh yeah, Frankie, he's the movie guy. Like that's the movie guy. He talks in movie quotes." Like I remember joining my fraternity. One of my like hazing things was like for the week, whenever I was in like the fraternity like house, I had to talk in movie quotes only. And it wasn't hard. Like that's kind of what my life was for the most part. But then I started realizing it was all comedy movies. Like I don't know shit about like the movies you're talking about. I know they're great movies, but maybe seen them once or haven't seen them because if you ask me my favorite movies, it's like Pineapple Express, Superbad, Step Brothers. It's like all those I could quote those till the day I die. So I actually had here too. What's your favorite comedy movie?
Let's see. Can I filter this sucker? I know it's weird to be like, I just don't know off the top of my head. I could think of like off the top of my head, it would be like Superbad, like you said. I think just growing up, that was like the comedy movie. I would say that. I would say Monty Python and the Holy Grail has always for me been one that is right near the top because it just beyond being very funny for the time period, like it holds up very well. Like a lot of the jokes they still will work now. Even Life of Brian, I think, got way funnier for the same Monty Python crew. That got way funnier as an adult than it was when I was a kid watching it.
I remember my dad making me watch Monty Python, and I was like, I'm done with this, Dad. And then as I got older, he'd still say all the jokes. I'm like, all right, that's better now. I get it now. It's like you're a kid, you can't really get that humor too much.
It goes over your head.
Blazing Saddles up there. I love like they call it the Cornetto trilogy, which is Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and I think it's at World's End was the last one. That I don't like that one as much, but the other two are fantastic. Death of Stalin, so funny. Other guys right up there.
So good.
I'll beat that drum till the day I die. I can't believe that didn't when it came out got the level of respect it should have gotten. It's insane.
No, especially I mean when Dwayne Johnson and Samuel L. Jackson jump off the building, it's like, oh, what the fuck's gonna happen? Wait, they're dead?
Yeah.
That was the craziest part. I mean, the fact that they have those two stars and it's just they're gone like right away. It's like what? And it still is unreal.
I was just talking to someone about it, and I was like, the cut from them jumping off of the roof, you see them on the ground, and then just cut to the bagpipes in the funeral. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's
the best. That's one of my favorite parts of the entire movie is when Michael Keaton comes in and he's like, "What the hell are you guys doing? Get them out. But like me and my wife, dude, I swear we laugh like belly laugh at that because it's just like they're literally wrestling and fighting at the funeral, like to see who's gonna be the next them. Those guys, like
it's all like these throwaway bits that are so funny. Even like Borat, I'm on here too. Like Borat, you talk about talking in movie quotes. Like I don't think there's a day in middle school or high school and say at least one Borat quote. Like there's so many of these on here.
There's some guy on TikTok I followed that just does impressions and like will chase his girlfriend around and do the Borat voice. And that's the reason I followed him, just because he's doing the Borat voice. I love it.
Staying power, man. That movie came out in like 2006. Like it's
dude. My students still they look at me like I'm crazy because someone will get like they'll be like, oh, I got 100%. I'll be like, that nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, oh god, yeah. Don't ever watch that movie.
yeah. Please.
Like,
or don't tell your parents I told you.
Yeah, right. Let me see. Why do they have a huge sensor stick in the middle of their body? Yeah, never mind.
Don't worry about it. So tell them the art teacher told you to watch it. Tell someone else told you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, come to find out, Frankie's actually just showing Borat while he's watching the bracket on the phone behind the desk.
They got a teacher. I think it was AP Bio. He taught not environmental. He showed us Idiocracy. That was like one of the coolest movies I think I ever watched during a classroom. That's a very funny movie. A little too prophetic.
Yeah, well, I think I actually watched that in school too. Now that I think about it, and I always remember saying, I was like, oh my god, Crocs are the shoes that they're saying that the idiots wear, and we all wear them now. So it's insane how much of that stuff came to fruition. But
it's Mike Judge, man.
What's that?
It's Mike Judge, the guy who did King of the Hill, Silicon Valley. He's like a genius.
He's unbelievable. But I still think my favorite movie that I've ever seen in school was Napoleon Dynamite in the Spanish one, which we had to convince my teacher for 3 full quarters that there was a Spanish person in the movie. Yeah. So we were like, Pedro's Spanish, please let us watch it. Yeah. So finally, she put it on with Spanish subtitles so we could watch it like that. It was just, we literally just watched Napoleon Dynamite. Like there was no learning whatsoever. Like she tried to give us an assignment. No, it was just the whole class was quoting Napoleon Dynamite.
Those teachers get the best reviews on Rate My Teacher, man. They're
I forgot how Rate My Teacher. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's down, dude.
Yeah. Wait, they took it down?
It's not even a thing anymore. It sucks.
Oh wow.
Damn.
I totally forgot about that. I used to like surf that religiously, especially.
That's how I chose my classes. That's how I would choose college classes. I'm like, all right, no, this guy's got a fucking F. There's no way I'm taking stats. I'm gonna do this movie review class. That
it was always like, all right,
or like intro to music or some dumb shit because the teacher got a good grade. Yeah.
It's funny, like all the hard class teachers would have Fs. Like every stats teacher would have an F, even if they were like a very good functional teacher. It wouldn't matter because everyone hates the class.
Dude, conceptual physics. I was trying to pick a teacher for that class. There was no. The guy I ended up picking was like a German guy that didn't speak English, and I ended up being like, I got to drop this class, dude. I have like a 62 in the class. It was just awful. But I always remember looking at those things on Rate My Teacher and being like, all right, she's got a chili pepper. But it's there's a lot of work. So do I?
Holy shit, dude! That's a serious nostalgia wave.
I don't have much more off of Frankie's list that he sent me. I think the last question he had here was, "Who's your go-to guy there in New York?" I know you're a busy man, always making clips and stuff. So what if you need a right-hand man or assistance on something? Who do you turn to for like, hey, help me out with this?
I think it depends. If it's in New York, if it's like writing, I'll sometimes like ask Roan, do you think this is good? If Francis is around, I'll ask him. I sit right next to Marty and Marty Hubs, and right behind me is Nate. Like they'll give good advice and stuff too. Like that's like Nate, I feel like he eats so much shit. He is legitimately like very funny. He is so like, and I think that he doesn't always get that across on camera. Like he is very, very, very. It's maybe just like the battles you pick or whatever. He's so funny, very, very quick off camera. And he, I think, is really good at headlines too. Very good with like other things in writing. So they're all helpful.
Yeah, I will say this. I liked Nate Fridays, but like when there's moments like that rundown recently where he just hops on and is screaming at Big Cat and just not hearing what Big Cat's saying and still just you cocksuckers, like Jesus, White Kanye, come on.
It's pick battles thing, but yeah, he's very, very, very funny off camera specifically too. And just, I mean, he's funny on camera, I think as well. Like, even in the Tate thing, like the whole thing was very uncomfortable, very awkward during that entire show. And then like I think the funniest part was when he went up and he was
the
very
speech.
funny.
Yeah, the speech, I even still like through that whole speech, I'm like, damn, he's gonna make him stay in New York. Like Nate's gonna vote New York, and then he's like, nope, go to Chicago. I was like, okay,
and even his his roast at the Barstool Awards was awesome too. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was
you let
amazing.
the dog out
because he's reading it off the paper because he's good at writing. I feel like when he's just like off the dome, he is quick. I will give him that. He's quick and funny with that stuff too. But I feel like he just goes to like this other level where it's like, bro, everyone wants you to just like chill a little bit.
You gotta let the dog off the leash.
The unleashed dog is very funny. I wish there's a better way or better examples I could give you, but he's very quick.
Yeah, no, I did. He's just, he's one of those guys that's gonna pop up and Dave's gonna give him shit, and then and the Stoolies are usually on Dave's side there, but but that's the dynamic we love. We love to see those two argue. It's a lot of fun because Nate, I think, is one of those guys that can take it though. Like you brought up earlier, like he's a guy that's he's hard headed enough to take it and dish it back.
And he can dish it back big time. Big time. He's got it.
Somebody get that guy shoveling some glitter, man. He deserves a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But again, I don't have much else. Frankie, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, that's it, man. I literally appreciate you coming on, talking with all this stuff. I know that, like we talked about, the women set the schedules, and of course Barstool schedule is pretty tough when you got to do your recordings, you got streams to go to. So appreciate you making time for us, man.
Yeah,
of course, man.
Awesome.
Of course, man. I appreciate all the kind words you guys had too. And I mean, honestly, go fucking ask Nate to come on. I would not put it past him to come on.
Yeah, it might right now might be the best timing. Let's let the dog off the leash for sure. Shit, Frankie, I'm gonna have to DM Nate. I did tag him in a blog where I called him White Kanye and basically said what I just told you. It was like next time White Kanye. I was like, I think the line was, John Rich, if you're still producing the rundown, next time White Kanye shatters the glass, mute his mic. So if he saw that, he might not come on. But I'm still a fan. I just like to talk a little shit too. We're just we're trying to be involved, trying to be in the mix.
Come right back at you, dude.
Part of the game, man.
Yeah,
put a bug in his ear. No problem.
Thanks again, Kenjac. You're the man. We can't wait to see everything that you back with the dozen coming. Actually, I forgot to ask about that. Are you going to be on the stars of the dozen at all? Like where they're taking on?
I don't know that they have like all that scheduled out yet.
Because I know it's Kirk and Brandon are the main pieces. But like if they need a third guy, the movie guy, Kenjac, it would be a perfect addition to that. The weird thing
is, I feel like that people don't give a lot of respect to. Kirk is so good at movies. True. Kirk is like he should be the call to guy on movies, because not only does he like know a lot of like just titles and stuff like that, he also knows like the award stuff, and the award stuff is, for me, once you get before like 2010 is like very difficult, and he has all that stuff like on lock. And I feel like people just don't think about that maybe with Kirk, or maybe they just are afraid to call him or something. But
it's gotta be it. It's like, no, let's call Kenjac. He's nice. Kirk's gonna
I'll definitely answer if I see the call, but I might not know it depending on when the era of the question asked is, and what the thing is. Again, like the Oscar stuff sometimes is just like right over pre a certain era. But yeah, Kirk's very good. It depends on what the specialty would be. Hey, if they want AFC football 2010 to 2024, I'm fucking there. But
yeah, shout out Phil Rivers, man.
Yeah,
that's the era. That's the era.
He's 18 kids.
Yeah, he's got his own fucking football team.
Him and Cromartie, dude, they were like battling for like the biggest families back then.
Now it's Tyreek. Tyreek's got like 5,000 of them, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Different women too. He's just gonna he's gonna have them all over. There's gonna be some fast ass players in the NFL.
Seriously,
19 years. Yeah.
There's gonna be we'll see a bunch of Cannons, a bunch of Tyreeks, it'll just be all from the same people. We'll just like, oh well, we know them.
Yeah,
there goes Rivers to Rivers. Oh, he pitched it to Hill, and Hill back to Hill. Yeah,
there's Harrison Jr. Wild. There's Tracy Porter Jr. There's
yeah. All right. Well, thanks again. We'll end it here. But yeah, thanks again, Kenjac. You're the man. Can't wait to see more of the bracket. Like you said, special episode coming out this. It'll probably be out before this.
It'll come out on Thursday morning.
Yep. All right. So if you're watching this on Saturday, go watch that if you haven't.
If you haven't already.
Yeah, there you go.
Of course, thanks for having me on, Phils. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
It's the Barstool Breakdown. Go ahead and give it to me. Breakdown. Let's listen to those guys. Breakdown. What's happening at Barstool this week?